Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, episode 26. Tonight we talk Pokemon Presents, RPGs and JRPGs, and the Nintendo Direct follow-up conversation. That and more. All right. Well, I am Andros, and I am joined tonight by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah.
Yep.
And we are joined tonight by guest host Garret from the NintendoShack, aka Bland Explosion.
Hello! How's it going, guys?
Yeah, things are going good. Things are going good.
Good.
We're excited to have you on, man.
I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to talk more Nintendo with you guys, for sure.
Yeah. So Garrett's joining us from the NintendoShack, which is part of the PSVG family of podcasts. And
That is right.
I've been listening to you guys for a while, and I really enjoy the dynamic between everybody on there. But you're kind of the staple RPG fan. Am I reading that right?
Yes, I am I think I am the black sheep, the ugly child of NintendoShack, where I just obsess over the games that Donnie and Rebecca just haven't heard of, or they're just disgusted by it, and that's fine. I'm there for that small slice of Nintendo audience that loves that kind of games. So you're welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really cool being in the NintendoShack actually, we just recorded yesterday. It's been our 1 year anniversary, me and Rebecca being in the show. And it's been really cool being in that show and talking about Nintendo. It is also like my regular podcast gig, like the first regular podcast gig I've ever done. I've only done podcasting beforehand. So it's cool to just be in there weekly talking about Nintendo, having like constructive arguments, but also cool conversations. So yeah.
Well, being the resident JRPG guy, I thought it would be great to have you on, especially this week, as we've gotten some pretty sweet games come out that
way too many.
Yeah. Someone with a lot more time will be able to finish all of those. But I guess let's just jump right into it then with Whatcha Playin.
Oh, okay. So first off, I just want to mention Mario 3D World.
Nice.
And Bowser's Fury. I've played quite a bit of that. It's been like a little over a week now, I guess. I'm not a huge Mario fan, like as much as like other Nintendo fans are. Like I am not obsessive over it. I don't play every Mario game. I've decided to take a plunge in this because I heard it's really good. It's very underrated, and it's like, it's a Wii U game. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. It's a new game for me. Guys, I really, really enjoy it. I just love how it's innovative, but it's also have like a classical feel to it. There's always a flagpole at the end, but the way they do the 2D with some 3D aspects in there and the obstacles is just so much fun. And it's so dense as well. Like each level just feels like its own little, I don't know, like creative obstacle, and like it's so novel every time. I don't know how you guys feel about Mario 3D World, but I'm just completely blown away by it. It's like probably top 3 Mario games. Like it's getting up there for me.
I am really enjoying it myself as well. It's got like everything I enjoy about Mario, and especially now with the addition of Bowser's Fury with the package. Because maybe the base game, the one thing I could say it was lacking was like an open exploration, which you get from some like more of the open sandbox Mario games.
Yeah.
But everything I enjoy about the series up prior to that point, with like the 4-player multiplayer chaos, and it almost encourages the chaos a little bit when you get like the crown. Yeah, and the ability to pick up players and throw them off edges. These are the kind of games that both ruined and solidified Micah and I's friendship.
Yep.
Wait, did you guys play multiplayer together with Mario 3D World?
We did on the Wii U. We played
On the Wii U?
New Super Mario Bros. U, and
Oh, gotcha.
that like co-op madness. And we played
Yeah.
this on the Wii U too.
Yeah,
didn't we?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure.
Yeah, we play. And man, yeah, it's a blast. I am really liking that they turned up the speed between the two games. It's been long enough since the first release on the Wii U that I forgot everything about this game. Like literally, don't remember most of the levels. There's been like moments where I've been like, oh, I remember that. That's really cool. Yeah, I remember that. But everything else is like it's like playing a game again. I don't know. I'm an old man, just forgotten everything that happened 10 years ago.
Pretty much the only thing I remember from that game is like the very last bonus level. I just remember a few parts of that because I took like 500 attempts to beat it.
So my friend just 100% of this game, and he had to waste like 300 or 400 lives to get all 3 stars in that last level. I'm like,
yeah, the last one is brutal.
I'm not that hardcore. I rolled credits. At least I could get that in my hands. And then I saw the next world. I was like, oh, you're gonna be in outer space. I'm like, you know what? Let me try Bowser's Fury next. I think I've had my fill. I know it gets much harder after you roll those credits, but yeah, no, it's just super fun. I only played single player, but like multiplayer wise, I guess I have a question for you guys. Like, is the pacing just a little bit weird and different with multiplayer? Is it more intention to have fun rather than get through the obstacle? I'm curious about that.
So I've played with both ends of the spectrum. So I've played with just my wife, and for us, it's about like 100%ing the game. And
cool.
In that regard, it's a very fun co-op. I've also played with my wife and son, and when you're playing with a 4-year-old, you spend a lot of time getting dragged off the edge of the screen because it's not split screen co-op. Everybody's on the same thing. He's all about speed running. He's like, I'm going to get to the end of this flag. I'm going to get to the flag first. And it becomes the more chaos. So it's really how you play, who you play with, I'd say. And that's honestly, to me, a bonus for the game.
Cool.
Where you can play that cooperative way. I think the pacing, I don't know. I haven't really played too much single player, actually. So I don't at all. So I don't really like have a comparison. I did play 3D Land on the 3DS single player, and I'd say it's about the same kind of pacing.
Gotcha. Cool. I was just curious because I've always played single player. I just wondering how multiplayer is. It sounds like it depends on what people you play with, and like if you're playing with your kids, of course you're just gonna just have fun with your kid. Within the level. So let them play Mario with you. That's kind of cool.
I do wonder how the online is. I haven't tried that out yet, and I do want to give that a shot just to kind of see. And because I've heard mixed reviews, so hopefully,
hopefully it's okay.
Yeah, hopefully it works.
Yeah. I'm kind of a bad example with multiplayer because I kind of like to kill my teammates as much as possible while getting to the end.
I forgot to talk about the Micah end of the spectrum. There's my son, who's like you'll get dragged off the edge. He's trying to win, and then there's the Micah who goes out of his way
who kills everyone
to kill you. He earned the nickname Murder Man Micah in our Wii U days.
It's the only way to play.
I completely understand.
Until everyone's down to like 1 life and you're like trying to keep a baby Yoshi alive.
Oh, so it's like pity mercy at that point.
Yeah.
Like you just let them have 1 life. Like, all right, I punish
now
you.
That you're almost dead.
Yeah. Let's just finish this level.
Well, you're barely hanging on. I'll let you live now.
You sound like you could play some Smash Bros with me. You want to play? Compete in Smash Bros. I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's a rough thing to do as well. I thought I was really bad at Smash Bros. Till I played with regular people.
Oh, really?
When I play with Micah, I was like, I always lose.
Gotcha.
I feel like pretty much everyone I've grown up with is like pretty good at Smash Brothers, and then they like play with people that like don't play that often, and they're like, wow, it's so much easier away from our like core group.
It's like it's like that I think it's Dragon Ball Z where he wears the weights for a super long time,
and then he takes off the weights,
and he's like, yeah, that's what it's
he's
like.
Super quick and fast now.
Micah's the weights.
It's been a while since I played Smash Bros. I need to get back into it so I can just train up to be okay, like decent at it again. I used to be so good at Melee, and then now I'm just like, I don't know. Every time I see Smash, it's like, oh, cool, another character, another anime sword fighter. Nice, all right,
yeah.
And then go off and play another game.
Or you just get a straight anime sword.
I mean, you could. You could get just Sword from Pokemon Sword.
that would be
that would be dope.
That would be a troll move by Mr. Sakurai. I already thought I thought the Pyra Mythra was like, okay, you guys complain about anime sword fighters, but how about a sword that's an anime fighter?
That's pretty good. Bowser's Fury, it's pretty good. I like it. It is definitely trying to explore what Mario could be in terms of just like I guess like the next game or what kind of fashion they want to do with Mario. It's sandboxy, but it's also compartmentalized pretty well. It's pretty seamless the way you go from the cat coins, like certain island to the next island. It's kind of cool to see that Bowser, being the big giant guy that he is, he does certain things in that game that allows like secret entrances, or like you can get certain coins by letting them like, beat down certain blocks. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know. It seems fine to me. Now I'm not blown away as much as Mario 3D World, I think. But I think they're just trying something out. They're stretching their legs a little bit to see what Mario
totally agree.
Is gonna be for sure.
I 100% Bowser's Fury. I did that first.
Oh wow, okay.
And it's a lot of fun. I think it's not super long. It's kind of like a little appetizer of a Mario game. And everybody's kind of reviewing that as like a separate thing. I think when you look at it as a whole package, like this game is phenomenal. Like if you got 3D World plus
it's
Bowser's
great
Fury,
value.
It's like just a really good package. Separately, like I think they're both really good, but together it's like, man, what a deal. I don't know.
No, I completely agree with you. It's a great value for all of that Mario game in a bunch. But yeah, I played a little bit of it. I still not finished with that one yet. I think I'm like a fourth of the way through of the cat coins. It doesn't seem like the puzzles are too hard either. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem too challenging to me, but it's fun to just go through. Yeah, that's pretty much it with that. Guys, I played Project Triangle Strategy. You remember that reveal in the direct?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a whole episode on it.
Favorite game of the year? Yeah. I know Sean loves that demo. But yeah, I really enjoy I love RPGs, JRPGs, and tactical RPGs are one of my favorites. So of course I dove into this. I dove into the demo. It's like Octopath Traveler style. It's a 2D and 3D art style type of thing. Very depth and lore, lots of conversations going on. There's a lot of things happening in the game. But at the base core, as a tactical RPG, it's pretty good. I say it's pretty solid. You're initially set as like a lot of different types of classes. You got like the mage, you got the thief, warrior, knight. They let you play all the different classes in these battles, which is
like
great.
Right off the bat with the demo too. It was almost a little overwhelming when you're dropped into this battle. I'm like, I don't know what any of these characters do. Like this person's riding an owl. They're an archer. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know the thief was the thief. Or
it took a little bit to figure out what the classes were for sure.
Not a lot of explanation. It just dropped you in, but it was also simple enough that it's easy to pick up on. Like I don't know how to describe it. It took a long time, but it's kind of like learning chess, or like
it is
like, oh, you're given all these pieces, and then they're kind of like you just click and see, oh, this is what this can do. Oh, this is what this can do.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I lost the level my first time because I accidentally let the prince die. I was like, oh, whoops. I'm not supposed to do that. Okay.
Yeah, my prince also got pretty low.
Yeah.
The first time I tried, I was like, oh, I should heal this guy up.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. I didn't know he was the prince at first. I was like, wait, why did I lose the game? But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really, and also as you guys probably experience, the decisions you have to make in that demo is kind of cool. Basically, in the middle of the demo, you have to persuade your allies whether to kind of give up the prince or defend with your life. And it looks like this game is probably a step up from Octopath Traveler in that sense, where your choices actually do matter, whereas Octopath Traveler, it didn't matter really at all because there were 8 separate stories.
I want to go back and play the other option. I don't know how long the demo goes. I like just made the decision to defend the prince with our lives. And I'm like going around and activating the secret weapon of sorts. That's where I'm at. And so have you finished the demo?
I did. So there's only there's gonna be a second battle where you use the secret weapon, and then that's the end of the demo, basically.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back. I made a separate save at that point. I don't know if it worked, but I want to go back.
Oh, that's smart. I should have done that.
I want to go back and try the other option.
Yeah,
it was actually
easier.
It was actually easier. More people were wanting to give up the prince for peaceful surrender than wanting to defend him. At least on mine, it was like it was like 2 of the so your main character's bride to be, and
there's a lot of names.
Yeah, there's 10
yeah, I don't remember any of them.
They were like, no, we can't give up the prince. And then there was one person undecided, and everybody else was like, let's give this guy up, including the prince. He's like, I can't put my life above the life of all these people.
It was about half and half, and they want you to just like, hey, persuade these other people to do this one thing versus another. So I think it's kind of cool. I wonder how it's gonna like really affect in the main game. And the second mission, it does add a cool mechanic to it. That secret weapon is like, oh, okay, cool. This is the way you're supposed to play this level versus like the first level. So I think it does bring up a lot of different gameplay mechanics that they can do. But we'll see what the other choice is. So the other choice is give up Prince, whatever.
And that would have a pretty different impact on the story. And that's where I'm like curious. I'm curious if like, okay, so at that point, does it really diverge, or is it a very similar?
Meet back up.
Yeah, and I think I'm thinking of games like, let's say, Mass Effect or Dragon Age or something like Telltale Games, where they do have these branching paths and they also have these decisions. I'm like, this can easily probably fit with a tactical RPG. Just a matter of if one choice was made, you have some extra soldiers, or there's kind of a different gameplay mechanic in the same map. It doesn't probably have to be handcrafted a new level for a different choice necessarily. But I could definitely see them doing differences basically based off of the choices you made, which would be really cool if they could pull it off really well.
Yeah. Game's gorgeous. I think it looks like a pop-up book. Yeah, it's great. It's
yeah.
Great.
One complaint, guys, those load times, they're not good. Those load times are not great on Switch anymore. Did you guys click on the side missions at all?
Like side mission cutscenes, you mean? Like there's not really any mission.
Literally a 10-second dialogue. I clicked these things, 30 seconds loading in, 10 seconds of dialogue of this random character I don't know, another 30 seconds of loading back into the map. I'm like, this is gonna drive me nuts if this is in the game.
I did not notice, but maybe I'm just like, maybe I was just so absorbed in the triangle, you know, in the triangle strategy. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Triangle strategy going. It's very like hidden. Like they don't tell you, hey, this is a side mission. It's like, here's a green exclamation mark if you scroll up left to the map. Like it's very hidden where these things are, but there are side missions, and I'm like, cool, this is a side mission. It's like, nope, this is just dialogue. This is just story. It literally tells you when you're having a battle, and instead of like everything is a mission is a battle. But yeah, I really enjoy it, guys.
Nice.
Good stuff. So last game I've played just a little bit this week. Persona 5 Strikers. Are you guys Persona fans at all?
I've never played a Persona game.
I haven't
That's
either.
okay.
I know that's why we had you on, because
Yeah.
I am genuinely interested in this Persona game, but I have heard, and from what I've seen, it looks like you kind of have to have played the first one.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So let me explain a little bit. I played about 3 hours of this game so far this week. It is a
So
direct.
you're still in the tutorial.
It literally is the tutorial right now. I'm still opening different mechanics, and I'm like, yes, Persona. This is it. The story takes place right after the end of the original Persona 5, not Persona 5 Royal, but the end of Persona 5. The gang comes back together, and it's a bunch of high schoolers and college students, and the whole storyline of this is that they're traveling around city to city and figuring out what is happening to people. The basis of Persona is that there's this metaverse that is like an alternative reality where our hearts and souls are residing in. It's like a kind of like a second person or whatever. And then there's these certain villains or active spirits that can change your heart, steal your desires, and that changes your personality completely in real life. And so these guys, called the Phantom Thieves, they are kind of trying to save everyone from these guys. And so yeah, it's just picking up right after what we left off from the first game. But it's not your JRPG turn-based whatever game, right? It is the warrior style mechanic in there, and so it's been all right so far, but it's definitely not like any other regular Warriors game. Have you guys played like Hyrule Warriors and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It is mashup and whatever, but there's a lot of Persona mechanics in there. Like you summon your Persona and everything pauses, and you can like activate a skill to do a large area effect on certain monsters. And then you have to be really careful when monsters attack you. It's not like you're a kind of a sponge of health. It's like, oh gosh, you got to dodge to make sure that you're not getting attacked over and over again. And so it's pretty rough, actually. And
that is good to hear, because I that was one gripe I had with Age of Calamity, is it just felt, I mean, you play on a higher difficulty and it kind of turns your health goes down faster and enemies hit harder, but it just feels like you're invincible. Like, could you imagine Link from Age of Calamity in Breath of the Wild? You're just running through and just slapping things everywhere you go, and no pain.
Exploding, flying.
Yeah, it was just kind of off-putting to me to have this like both button mashing and you're just a sponge for damage. Like nothing. There's not really any.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, you felt so powerful. Like, oh my gosh, I can defeat hundreds of monsters in like 5 seconds. This one's like, no, you're gonna struggle with 30 monsters for a little, like 2 minutes or something. And so there's HP and then there's SP, which is the skill points. That's kind of like MP for like RPGs or whatever. You have to make sure that is like okay as well. You have to make sure that gauge is pretty good when you go through missions. Like Warriors games, they're more out in the open. They're like very public, right? Like you go through and mash all these monsters. This is all about sneaking. You actually sneak behind monsters. You grab their mask off, and then that gives you an advantage of like that battle or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's very different in terms of that. The way you approach monsters, is very much not out in the open. You are sneaking around and going around this whole level, making sure that you pick off the right monsters.
This does not sound like a Warriors game. This sounds like maybe Dark Knight. Not Dark Knight. What are the Gotham games? Sounds more like that.
Yeah, think of Dark Knight, and then like once you get into combat, though, it is like you see the warrior style. It's like, oh yeah, now I'm mashing buttons, kind of, and then pulling out my personas. My party members are helping out here. But yeah, it's good so far. The Warriors style is pretty muted versus any other Warriors game I've played. The story is fine. I still like the first game very much. It's still it's slow paced. Like I was like, oh, okay, there's more conversation. There's about probably hour and a half, maybe out of the 3 hours I played, maybe 2 hours of conversation and dialogue. There's very minimum combat in like the first few hours. I guess they just want to, you know, like exposition, make sure the story is like rolling on in. But I'm hitting my first dungeon right now, so the combat is ramping up here. But yeah, I'm playing on PS4, by the way, because I love 60 frames per second. You need kind of like that silky, buttery smooth goodness on that Warriors game. So I decided to get on PS4.
I've heard good things about it on Switch though. Like
I've heard
it runs really well. So that's
I played
good.
I played the demo on Switch. I didn't have a problem with it. It was actually better performance than Age of Calamity. That's what I hear. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys.
Nice. Did you pick up Bravely Default 2?
I did, but it just came out last night. I haven't opened it yet.
You haven't played it yet?
Yeah. I needed sleep last night. I can talk a little bit about reviews of this game.
I don't know anything about this game other than like I know what has been shown in trailers and stuff. It is one that does not appeal to me. I don't know why. Like it's just the art style.
That makes sense.
I didn't think it looked awesome. Like, but I also totally know there's a huge fan base for the Default series, the Bravely Default, and there's also Bravely Second. What is it just called, the Bravely series? I don't know what they call it.
I don't know what they call it either. Probably Bravely series. Now, this game is getting middling reviews. It's like you see some okay, you see one bad review, and you see a lot of good to great reviews as well. It's meant to be a traditional JRPG, trying to hit back to homage to that. So it's gonna be pretty rough for a lot of people. It's not gonna have the quality of life as what we see in like improvements like in Pokemon now, or like in other types of like even Persona as well. Persona has come a long way. This is still very traditional. We're gonna take turns, and it's gonna be really hard to figure out what the monsters are gonna be weak to, and it's gonna be pretty hard to like beat these guys. It can be inconvenient sometimes, and that's what people are they're kind of slashing that game a little bit because of that.
It's interesting because it's definitely pitched as a, hey, this is an RPG or an old school JRPG game, and those games are grindy. Like that's just the way they are, and it's funny that those are being it's being slammed for that when some of the greatest games of all time
have that.
It's funny what we review with like modern review and go, oh, this is too hard.
Right. Some people they love the grind. I love the grind to a certain extent. Bravely Default 1 does have that major complaint at like the last 20 hours of that game. It's just unbearable because it's just all grind, which that makes sense. Like you get to a point where it's just not fun anymore. But I'm wondering how it seems like the people who like the Bravely Default series are liking this game too. So I'm sure I'm going to have a good time. We'll see if I beat it. It's going to be, I mean, this game is probably going to be 100 hours, easily 100 hours. So it's going to be a while.
And you just took on and you just took on several other
right. My priority right now is Persona Strikers, and then Bravely Default will be my nice marathon game I will play throughout the year so I can annoy Donnie and Rebecca every week about it. That's in the NintendoShack. That's basically what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's the default annoying game.
The default game.
Nice.
Throughout the year.
Well, thank you for sharing. Micah, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I've actually been kind of a heathen. I haven't really played like any games this last week.
That's totally fine, man. Hey, you gotta have a break sometime.
I did play some Among Us last night.
Okay.
And that was great. I ended up being
on
imposter.
Switch?
I was playing with people on Switch, but I was using my phone.
Oh, you were using your phone. Okay, cool.
But I ended up being imposter first round, and I won. But that seemed to people seem to place a lot of mistrust in me afterwards. And I got accused of being the imposter a lot, especially when I saw other people killing people.
I mean, like, let's roll back to when I mentioned your nickname of Murder Man Micah or Merciless Micah. Those are some other ones. Yeah.
I played Among Us maybe a couple weeks ago, and there was this one situation where I was the bad guy, right? And my girlfriend, she just witnessed me murdering a person. And then so I went in and reported it, and I totally accused my girlfriend to everyone else, and they believed me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I've done in this game. It makes me turn on everyone. Yeah. I was like, wow, I could do this. Wow, that's surprising. It's a fun game.
But I love it. Had a blast with that, but that's pretty much all I've played this last week.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, so I'll quickly go through what I have been playing. I also played that Among Us with Micah. We had a good group from our community all hop into play, and it was a blast. It's been a while since I played Among Us. Like 3 weeks at least. And yeah, it's a good one to have on the Switch, and it's on sale right now on the Switch. I guess maybe I shouldn't promise that the sale may be up by the time this goes live, but
it's regularly like $1 off.
$5,
like $4 or $5.
It's $3.
It's like
now.
$3.50 now.
Ooh. Yeah, if you're
a cup of coffee.
Yeah, if you're on the fence on it, like, oh, totally get it. It's like for $3, you'll get a good amount of fun out of that.
It's the perfect quarantine game. No joke. You play with anyone you can
fun
online.
Interactions with people.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know several people that get together with groups from school, groups, families, and that, because it's free on mobile, so anybody can get it and play it, and it's really easy to learn. So like, my parents are playing this game with us, and they like never do games like that. So we're all playing, all me and my siblings and parents are playing from all corners of the country, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool.
Among Us, and I also actually tonight my wife and I did a date night. We went to an arcade. I haven't been to an arcade in like eons, and it was so fun. They had a lot of games. I played a Mario pinball machine.
Oh, cool.
That was really fun. Had like voice clips from Mario and lots of power-ups and stuff that you could do. We had a blast with that. Played classic Mario on like an
Was it a big screen? Like a big arcade-ish screen?
Yeah,
like, yeah. I remember seeing those in a recent arcade.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That was a lot of fun. I played Turtles in Time, which is one I loved from the Super Nintendo. But the arcade version has like actual voice acting in it. Like
oh, nice.
It's like very different. I'm like, man, this is like way better than it was on the SNES. Like it looked a little better, and it played, and the audio was definitely better.
Now, was this machine like made recently, or is this a classic old like arcade cabinet?
I believe that they are the classic old arcade cabinets.
That's pretty good.
It may have been made recently, but these looked dated, like from the era. Maybe they were restored from the era they're in. And then there were some more modern games, like, well, it's not really modern. I played Guitar Hero on the arcade.
Oh yeah, the recent game of Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
But what about DDR? I mean, that's where it's at.
Yeah,
there we go.
We did not play DDR. We ran out of time. It's like I had to get back for the podcast, man. But that's one we're gonna go back with my kids, and I think my son will love going to the arcade and trying those out.
Oh, for sure. It's been too long since I've been to an arcade. I actually, I've been to New York City, and it was like a bar. And now it's all these barcades now.
That's what it was. It was a bar arcade, but it was like family friendly. Like they had a bar section, but all the arcade portions are not on the bar.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
So I did dig that, and they had like really sweet murals of Mario characters and Street Fighter characters. And I'll share a picture on the community Discord that I took from there, because we had a lot of fun with that. Also this week I played some Minecraft for the first time in a while. My sister reached out and was like, "Hey, you guys want to play some Minecraft?" So we hopped on, played some Minecraft, and they've added quite a bit to that. They had a pretty big update. We didn't make it to the Nether yet. We'll jump back in to play that. I also played Project Triangle Strategy. Kind of talked a little bit about that during Garrett's spiel.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Triangle Strategy.
Good demo.
I actually am really digging the story in that. My wife was watching me play. She's like, "This looks so boring," and I was like, "Man, I'm liking it." I don't know. It's been a while since I've been able to absorb myself into some sort of story in video games.
Yeah,
like Nintendo. We're going to talk about this in the community corner today. But Nintendo doesn't have a ton that is really story driven. There's a lot more, everything's more focused on gameplay mechanics and having fun gameplay. And then story seems to be like an afterthought. Where Project Triangle Strategy, like that's one of the core pieces.
All story.
It's very story based. You don't even start playing for like the first like 20, 30 minutes.
I think you would get absorbed with Persona then, if that's the case. If you love story, I mean, it has a ton of story with it.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. Maybe I'll just watch a recap of Persona 5, and then
you can totally do that for sure. You don't have to waste 120 hours like I did.
Well, is it wasting if you're having fun?
Well, true. I had fun
a little bit, I guess, but
maybe like 30% of the time. The rest was just dialogue. I'm just kidding. No, I really, really enjoyed Persona 5. That's why I'm playing Strikers.
And then last two I'll talk about are Mario 3D World. I played some of that. Where World 4, I think.
Cool.
My wife and I are playing that one cooperatively, trying to just collect everything first go. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. A fantastic game. I totally agree with what Garrett was saying earlier. Like, I don't necessarily place it above Odyssey, but it's like its own kind of genre almost. Where Odyssey's very sandbox, like explore, open exploration, and then you got like New Super Mario Bros. U, which is like the 2D Mario,
very classic,
and then this is like in the middle of that in its own like 2D 3D adventure game, and I hope that it spawns more games like this for sure.
Yeah, it's really the best of both worlds. I think it does have always that classic core feel. I still feel like that's it, but there's just a little bit of depth with
they
the
do
3D
so much
mechanics.
Fun stuff with the level design in this game too. Like we jump in this pipe and go to a level, and it's like Racetrack Ridge. I don't remember exactly what it's called. And the Mario Kart music starts playing, and the entire level you are running as fast as possible because you're going on those speed boost things, and you can't stop. And it's playing this Mario Kart music, and you're going on like race tracks and doing all this stuff. No other Mario game like has such a wide variety in the level design. I'd say. Even Odyssey. Like Odyssey does some weird stuff, but it doesn't venture into as weird as it gets in 3D World with the and just so different. It's wild how different it gets. But yeah, and then last and certainly not least for me anyways, because I put a ton of time into this game unfortunately, is Panel de Pon.
What is this game?
Panel de Pon is also known as Tetris Attack for the SNES.
Oh, Panel de Pon.
Yeah.
I play Pokemon Puzzle League, so same mechanic, right? Same game.
Yeah.
I think so.
I love that thing.
So,
oh my gosh.
Panel de Pon on the SNES Online app has sucked me in. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because this is not my typical
because it's a good game, of course.
But
it's a game.
Micah and I both got into this mode where I was like, "Hey, Micah, you should try out this single player like clear. You have to clear your board. That's the goal." and I was like, it gets really hard at like World 4, so I just gave him like the level code to get to World 4. And we both played it, and we're like, holy cow, it got so hard. It got super difficult. But let me tell you that does not even get close to how difficult it gets when you do single player versus mode. And in versus mode, it's like a story campaign. I have no idea what's going on.
Is it with another thing to like a computer to the left that's challenging you?
Yep.
Right? Okay.
And if you hit L B, oh man, I don't remember the exact code, but there's a code you can enter to get to extra hard mode. And I was like, obviously that's where I'm going to start, because I just beat this other one on hard. I can do versus on extra hard mode. I have died so many times that I have looped the continue counter. It got to 99, and I was like, what happens after this? Is the game over? And it looped back to 0. I have used over 99 continues at this point. I can't I'm on level 7, and there are still 2 more visible levels left. And if I know Panel de Pawn from the previous, there's also going to be like a hidden boss at the end. Guys, it's rough. It's rough, but I feel challenged by it. Like I have to beat it for pride, you know. I can't let it sit.
You can't back down now.
You got to beat that game. I adored Pokemon Puzzle League, the N64 game. Have you guys played that one at all?
I have.
I have not played that one.
That brings back memories. With Panel de Pawn, it's like almost the exact same mechanic, only now you got a bunch of combos. Don't you add like bricks or whatever to the other player?
Yep. That's how you do it in versus. Yeah.
I see. That's the versus mode.
It's so fun. This series needs to come back.
I think it should come back in some way. I'm surprised that they haven't like even dabbled with it with the Switch version, because I think it would be perfect with it.
Yeah. A Pokemon Puzzle League app. I would prefer that over Pokemon Cafe. Just throwing that out there.
Well, we do have Pokemon Shuffle, which is kind of like that, but not really. But give me Pokemon Puzzle League back on the Switch. I'm down with that.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. So cool. I guess we'll just move right along, because we've got there's actually quite a bit of news to cover, especially since we just had a Pokemon Presents. So I will switch over to the next segment of our show, which is the Nintendo news. And in today's Nintendo news, we're going to be mainly talking about Pokemon Presents. But before that, I want to hit up on some of these cool points. A Stardew Valley board game. Out now. Just dropped. Shadow dropped a board game.
And sold out.
Is it already? Dang it.
Printed out.
Yeah.
And the creator said that they're doing a second print right now. They're like, wow, we're surprised that it's been sold out. We're making more now.
Oh, I need to get that. I was like, man, I wasn't sure how popular it was going to be. I know Stardew Valley is like a super popular game, but I was like, do those people really want to play a board game? Apparently they do. So I was on the fence on it. My wife is a huge Stardew Valley fan. Like,
that's perfect. You guys could just play together with this, with the board game. It looks cool. Like there's a lot of depth to it. It even says like in the description, like, this is not for people, not for like young kids. It's not for like if you just want to get in and have fun. It's you're gonna get into it. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of different varieties of what to do in this game. So
45 minutes per player. I mean, that gives you an idea. It's going to be a long game.
Yeah. In 2 players, that's like 45 minutes. That's a long board game session. I mean, there for just 2 players.
Yeah, an hour and a half for 2 players. And you know that's if you know what you're doing.
Right.
And like first time you play, it's going to be like double that.
First time 4 hours.
Oh, man. But I like games like that. Well, I think we'll be getting this, and we'll be enjoying it.
I wonder what you do. There's a lot of like, oh, today I'll just go to the dungeon, or today I'll just farm, or today, like, I wonder how this game is, this board game.
I really want this board game to happen for like more stuff. This is so cool because it's not a, hey, we released Stardew Valley Monopoly. This is like an actual strategy board game that is like trying to be true to the mechanics of the game. Nintendo, I've begged for this for like every podcast I'm on, where because I've been a guest on some podcasts where we've talked about board games, and I'm just like, I really want a good Nintendo board game. Like any IP, I think I'll take. Mike and I talked at one point about the Pikmin card game, and we were like, that would be so good. A deck builder.
Oh, a deck building. Oh, yeah, with Pikmin. That sounds pretty good, actually. Actually, just make that into a video game too while you're at it.
Yeah.
I love deck building games. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't really do much like any really board games itself, but PlayStation and Sony, they've done quite a bit actually for every major franchise, right? Like,
I know there's an XCOM board game. There's a Portal board game.
Yeah, there's a Bloodborne game. There's a Dark Souls one.
Yeah. The Dark Souls. I forgot about that one. That one was really good too.
I think there's a Last of Us 2 they're making. Like it's like a lot of different franchises that have their own games. So and I'm seeing this more and more recently. Not like this wouldn't happen 10 years ago. It's happening now, and I wonder why that is. Is it just because there's a lot of smaller indie board game developers involved? I know the board game community, at least just talking to the folks at PSVG, the way it works is a lot of kickstarting, Indiegogo. It's like like they'll get the money up front and then they'll make the game. That's like kind of like a lot of their revenue actually for these smaller board game makers. But
yeah,
Stardew Valley, man, that actually piques my interest too. But I wonder if anyone else would play Stardew Valley, the board game, with me right now. Probably not.
I think it's a cool idea, and yeah, I just want to see a Nintendo IP do the same thing. I would love that. And then we had a bunch of surprise drops of ports to the Switch. First up, let's talk Star Wars Commando, which I thought was pretty cool, exciting. I know a lot of love for that game. I did not play it. It's an old Xbox game, if I recall correctly.
Right.
And an addition, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which both of these came like pretty quick after the Direct, which surprised me.
Yeah, I think, okay, so, or both of them, well, Tony Hawk is Activision. What was the first game again? I'm sorry.
Star Wars Commando.
Oh, okay. That's Aspire. I wonder why they didn't put that one into the Direct, to be honest with you, because that one looks pretty cool.
Well, they had to save space for DC Superhero Team
of
Girl
course.
Squad.
All the filler content in Direct. But yeah, I think Tony Hawk wanted to coincide with BlizzCon, right? Because they have Diablo 2 Resurrected coming out, that got announced as well for Switch. So I guess they just wanted to like pile them all together right after Direct.
That does make sense. It worked with BlizzCon.
They didn't want to have to compete as much maybe with the other things in the Direct.
It's true. I mean, this was an exciting announcement.
Separate.
I know there's a lot of people. I played skateboard games like back in the day on like the N64. I don't remember which ones, but I remember thinking they were awesome and a lot of fun to try and get like the tricks and combos. And it's cool to see that get a new life. And coming to Switch just makes so much sense for this game. This is a Switch game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for the Switch version, and it looks okay. It looks about as good as what you'll see on the Switch. I think I heard like some form of like response or whatever last year of like, oh, this game will never make it to Switch, and and this is why. But now we're getting it on Switch. I'm like, guys,
anything's possible. Anything
is possible. I mean, we got what did we get? Doom. We got.
Oh yeah, that one surprised me.
Doom Eternal working on a Switch. That's just magic, right there. But yeah, I loved the first Tony Hawk. I played that a lot actually when I was just like always going out of town. That to my grandmother's, she always had Tony Hawk in her computer, and I'm not sure why, but I played like hours on end in that game.
Your grandma was secretly a Tony Hawk fan.
Yeah,
all right. I guess so. She was a skater too, I guess, in her secret life.
Yeah, I think I had Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 back in the day, and I think I like 100%ed that on like every level, got all the challenges you were supposed to.
Dang.
So I got like
Man, I
a
didn't know
bunch of
this. I
playtime
didn't
out
know
of
this
that with
about you,
my
Micah.
family.
Didn't know you did skateboard games.
Well, I think I got one more after that, I guess, but I generally don't. But I played that one a ton.
I had that one on the Wii, where you use like a Wii balance board to play. Like
I remember that thing. The Wii
I think I'd
balance
hurt
board.
myself.
Yeah, it was bad.
wasn't it
wasn't
like
a great
kind
game.
of on rails?
Kind of. You lean back and forth, so you could still like go to different spots.
Was the balance board like, was it teeter-tottering, or is it stable? Like stable on the floor?
Gosh, I'm picking
my
brain
here.
Stable. I feel
I
like it
died.
looked like I'm just gonna find skateboard.
Let's look this up. I'm wondering.
It was an actual skateboard peripheral.
That's actually pretty dope.
I can't remember. This might not be what I had. I feel like I played on a Wii balance board.
I mean, it maybe was compatible with the balance board.
Yeah, Tony Hawk Ride is what this game is called. I might be totally misremembering. My brother will come in and correct me. It was his game, so he'll come in the comments and correct us here. But yeah, skateboard games come to Switch. It just fits. Let's talk now about some completely related Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
Sakurai Presents will be on March 4th, and he'll be talking Pyra and Mythra. And everybody comes for the character, but they also come for those Mii costumes. See what we're getting in the weird world of Miis.
Yeah, that's true. And I love Sakurai presenting these characters.
I am really interested to hear what he's gonna say, because he really has fun with it. You can tell.
Yeah.
He did that one where he was like counting in binary on his fingers, and he's talking about like, oh, look at all these Fire Emblem games, and he makes jokes. I do wonder if he's gonna like talk about how they had to censor the characters.
Oh, I'm sure he'll have something along the lines of that.
I didn't know that they censored them until after. I didn't play Xenoblade 2 because honestly, because it looked too fan servicey. I was like, it doesn't look like it's not my kind of game.
You go for the story, okay? I hear Pyra and Mythra, like only tools go there to just to make fun of what's there. Okay, we're the actual fans that look into the story. I'm sure there's a lot of heart. Okay, I really need to play Xenoblade 2. Yeah, I need to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 though, because I heard it's a really good follow up to the first one, and I just beat that one last year.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah.
It's sold out in Japan. I don't know. Did you guys see that story? It's sold out.
Yeah.
After this announcement.
What's sold out?
Xenoblade 2.
Oh, the game. Wow.
The game completely sold out in Japan after this announcement. And I mean, Smash Bros sells games. Like that's just the magic of Smash Bros. It revitalized several series, I didn't even know who Captain Falcon was. Ness? Who's that? Like, I didn't know who any of these people were until Smash Bros. And yeah.
And Captain Falcon and Ness was the originals. They were there first.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them, and I did not know where they were from at all. Like, I was like, who is this Ness guy?
Who are these weirdos?
Yeah. But now I'm actually excited with Pyra and Mythra.
The cult following for like Mother and this is not a cult following, but Fire Emblem like exploded, and that is 100% Smash Bros. Started that.
I think for sure the Western side is because of Smash Bros, but also Fire Emblem Awakening. I think it was the more accessible game for 3DS, I guess.
Yeah,
probably not as much, but now that we have a ton of Fire Emblem characters in Smash, they're trying. They bulk up that franchise pretty well.
Yeah, I interrupted you. You said you're excited. You're excited for
Yeah, the moves. I want to see more movesets for sure, because it's like you don't see this type of character at all in Smash. The only other one is Zelda and Sheik that changes intermittently in battle. I can't think of any.
But they don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore. But yeah, in the previous.
Oh, they don't do that anymore. Oh wow. Okay, never mind.
For the Wii U, they had Samus and Zero Suit Samus.
But that one wasn't voluntary though. You had to use the ultimate
final
smash. Yeah. So really, this is probably the only character that's doing this kind of switching back and forth. And it looks like it's very quick too. They were showing the trailer. They go from pyra, you do like a tag, like a range attack, and then you could suddenly change your appearance and go for it. So it's not going to be a down B transformation. I wonder what the transformation button's going to be, and how that's going to play into the Smash Bros combo system. So I'm looking forward to this explanation. I'm looking forward to Sakurai's jokes and his wall of 5 or 7 TVs and all the Nintendo consoles and his cabinet. But yeah, it's good time.
It's gonna be fun. I love his presentations. I feel like he should do more of the presentations for Nintendo.
He should do the directs.
Yeah. He's such an entertaining guy. And kudos to the translation team as well, where they really like bring his voice, his English voice to life.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But it's his face, his expressions and his
He's making a joke, and then he's not like laughing at all. He's just smiling at the screen. And like, it's just really funny how he delivers the jokes there.
So let's get to the real meat of the news here. And we had, as we record these Friday night, as our listeners know, and these release Monday, noon Eastern. And today, this morning, we had Pokemon Presents. And what a presentation that was with I guess
craziness.
I don't even know where to start.
Unbelievable. How about that?
maybe I'll start with my one 2. I've got 2 negative.
What? Why are you starting with negatives?
I'm starting with negatives because first off, I missed parts of the presentation because of buffering issues. This thing was
I had buffering issue as well.
Everybody did.
I just watched it later.
At a certain point, if you were watching live, it crashed. Like no one was able to watch that portion of the video unless you went back.
Yeah, that's what I was doing constantly.
We were watching with our community here. I had Aiden and John who are on our Discord, and John's like, "You're like 15 seconds behind me." So I was like, "Well, I'll just refresh." Like in between like game announcements, like when they're introducing next time, I hit refresh and I went backwards. How does that happen? No. I was like, he's like, "Oh, you're farther behind now." I'm like, "God dang it! How does this happen?" Anyway, so that's my one gripe. It has nothing to do with the content. Just
okay, sounds good.
We broke YouTube with how many people were watching.
It was like 500,000 people.
Yes, 500,000 live views on YouTube that's a ton. I can't imagine I can't imagine that's the most they've had, but so I was a little disappointed that it was laggy, but it is what it is. You can go back and watch it if you want to see it not laggy. And then the other thing was I thought the intro was really cool, but it was a little too long.
It was like 8 minutes?
I skipped a little bit.
Good. Skip a lot of it.
Those are my complaints. It's like, man, this 20-minute presentation, half of it was a history lesson on Pokemon. And I'm like, which some of that stuff I had never seen before. Like they had that
what the heck is this?
Over half the things in there. I'm a Pokemon fan, man. And then I see over half the things in here. It's like, when did we get this? Like at all. Like there's this N64 like card reader. There was like a freaking card reader. And I'm like, where did this come from? There was a microphone for the N64. I
for Hey You Pikachu.
I didn't know that.
What about that USB stick?
What was that USB stick for? It was global play. It
global
was
online trading, yeah. But then in the West, we didn't have that because we had Wi-Fi for our DS.
Well, that was like I think it was like the game before. It was like Pearl or Diamond doing this, or it was before we actually had global play. You had to put in like a little USB dongle or something, I guess, in Japan. Hey, good history lesson, but yeah, too long.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was really well done. I just didn't want it as part of this presentation because it just was like,
right.
I don't know. Yeah, but these announcements. So first thing they showed is the another look at Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
And showed that you have some assistance, and really didn't show too much new stuff, except there was a like built-in photo sharing application with like a like system and with online. So it would be like, if you get enough likes, you'll be featured. And I'm like, they're making like an internal social media app for this game. Like that's
pretty
wild.
Dope.
That's wild. That's kind of a big deal. I think a lot of people overlooked it because it just didn't show much, but like a simple photo sharing thing inside the game, that's pretty cool.
I didn't see that. I guess I just wasn't really paying attention. I'm not a huge
It was
Pokemon.
Literally like 5 seconds.
Oh, it was 5 seconds of it? Oh, okay.
You blink,
I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. I really liked how there's like different ratings for different Pokemon like poses, and then the berries and the orbs. It doesn't seem like that's not too new from the original game. I know a lot of people are excited for this though. Like the fans of Pokemon Snap, they are an excited bunch for this game. They wanted this game for 20 years or something like that, and they're finally getting it. I'm happy for them.
That is us right here. I love Pokemon Snap.
You guys are ready to go. To me, so my memory of Pokemon Snap, my friend brought it over. And then he put it in, and it was like a sleepover or whatever. He literally played the entire game right in front of me the whole night. I did not touch the controller at all.
Yeah.
And that's my experience with Pokemon Snap.
I can see how that ruin it a little.
Yeah. So, but it looks cool.
Did he find all the secrets and catch Mew?
I don't know if I think he did catch Mew. He did pretty much everything right in front of me.
I mean, you can beat that game.
The best part is like trying to figure out the secret levels and.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And I was like, why aren't we playing Mario Kart or something? Or Star Fox?
Yeah, not really a multiplayer game. Not a sleepover game.
I do hope that, I mean, your experience illustrates how short the game is. I do hope this one has more depth, length, at least, like more levels, because it's just, I sat down and cleared through Pokemon Snap. I was so excited when they announced it. I was like, I'm going to bust out the old Pokemon Snap. We'll play it. And I was like,
yeah, it's like
I was like, I've done all the levels already. Yeah, it's super fast.
Yeah, paying for $60 for 2 hours nowadays, that's a hard sell sometimes.
Yeah.
I
feel like
it looks great though.
I feel like a single player game has to be like at least 8 hours at the short end.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's all subjective. People have their own opinions on how you want to pay for them. 8 hours I think it's a good mark as well.
For a full price game, at least.
For a full price game, yeah. If I see $60 and it's 5 hours, I'm like, they should be a really good 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like those they
I
can
should be crying from joy for those for the full 5 hours.
I mean, Mario 3D World, like, I mean, that's a short game. I didn't realize how short it was when I went through it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty short, but I'm so happy I paid $60 for this because it's super fun. Yeah. So there's definitely those rare games.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But that's also one that you can spend quite a bit more on if you go for the 100%.
For sure. Yeah. You can and like do it with every character and get every stamp. Yeah. There's a lot of content to be there for sure.
Next, announced the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Diamond and Pearl Gen 4 remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah, does anyone even care about that though?
How dare you?
Wait, what? Does someone not like Diamond and Pearl over here?
I'm a big fan.
No, I'm just.
Mike is giving.
I played it, so I don't really feel the need for the remake.
I mean, I played it too, but I'm gonna play this thing too as well.
Mike is giving me grief because I think this might be one of my favorite Pokemon games. It's just timing of when it came out and how old I am. I guess I was like 13 when this game came out.
Yeah, so, it was around there. I was 13 as well, or 12.
So about the age
it
where
can't be as good as Crystal, which is the best Pokemon game.
I was a little.
You're one
young.
of those people.
Scientifically proven to be the best Pokemon game.
I was like a little young to like get super into Crystal. The first one I got like super into was Gen 3 with Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire.
Oh, I loved Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald.
But
I actually never played those ones.
Gen 4.
You never played those ones.
Gen 4 is the one right after.
I keep hearing good things.
And they did do Heart Gold, Soul Silver that same time.
That's true.
Right after Diamond and Pearl. So that's a great era in Pokemon. And sure. So what'd you guys think? I'll give my thoughts but what did you think, Garrett?
I think it looks like exactly what I wanted it to be. It is Diamond and Pearl remade. It's the same levels. It's the same Pokemon that you're gonna go through. I was like, great. I'm glad I'm gonna go through this. Up-res textures, cool art style. I think a lot of people are bashing on, oh, it's a chibi art, cutesy art style. Why is it like this? And I'm like, guys, have you ever seen Pokemon? Like, have you seen Diamond and Pearl the way they were? They were kind of chibi. The head was like half their size. Like, of course they're gonna do this. When I was looking, I was like, that is a Diamond and Pearl remake because that's the art style. But I like you, Andrew. I loved playing Pearl and I love playing Platinum version. I think it's one of the more unique stories in a Pokemon game. That in Black and White, those were great Pokemon stories themselves.
Yeah, I totally agree.
100%. Very cool Pokemon in there. I still like Gen 3 the most. That's like I grew up with Gen 3 Pokemon personally, but Gen 4
it's like my lost twin, man. I didn't realize.
I don't remember.
Those are like my favorite.
Is that where Shuckle was introduced? Because
Shuckle is Gen 2.
The best. Well, Gen 2 is obviously the best.
Yeah, we know your thoughts on Crystal.
I started with Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow as well. So I've played all the Pokemon games for sure. But yeah, Gen 3 and Gen 4 is kind of peak Pokemon for me. I'm getting this day one. Super excited.
Micah, what'd you think?
We're gonna get it's been a long time since I'd played, so.
Are you gonna play it?
All right, I guess. No, I don't think I'll be picking this up.
Are you a Pokemon fan now, or are you just not into it anymore?
I don't know. I haven't played a new Pokemon game in a while. The last one I played was Pokemon Black.
Oh, so that's a while.
Yeah, so the I think I have Crystal, Platinum, and Black. I think are the three that I've owned. So supposedly like some of the best.
No, yeah, you picked the good ones for sure.
Yeah, some of the newer ones just like haven't really caught my attention.
No, that makes sense.
Except maybe this next announcement coming up.
That
one has caught my attention.
I will be honest. I was slightly disappointed with the direction that they went with it. I was kind of hoping for, because what they've done for all the past remakes has matched the current style. So if you look at like
that makes sense.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver matched Diamond and Pearl style. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire looked like X and Y.
Yeah,
and then I was in my mind just going, okay, well, so the next logical thing is that this will look just like Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
but they went very different with it. I think they took more of like a Link's Awakening approach. It looks like not quite as good as Link's Awakening, I'd say. Link's Awakening looks really, really good. Like,
it's very adorable. It's like it binges on I'm sure this is an adorable art style as well, but it's just very toy like, whereas this one's more chibi.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to distinguish the two. That's the reminder I got. I was like, it looks like they're kind of like that. It's a little cartoony, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is a good way to do a remake of an old 2D game. I mean, it was on the DS. And
it was on the DS.
It was kind of 3D. I remember the houses being kind of weird. Like you'd walk past them, and it's like you're looking at one of those lenticular, I think is the word. The like where you like it moves a little bit.
You see them from a different angle.
Yeah, that's what the houses look like.
There's
in
like
the game.
different shadows, like kind of broadening over. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
sometimes to see it.
I remember at first that was very jarring, and then by the end of the game, I was like totally used to it. But this like looks much more. It looked, the lighting and quality in that regard looks really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm gonna pick this up because it's not what I was expecting. But at the same time, I really like Diamond and Pearl. And Platinum might be my favorite. Pokemon games. That's 100% Emerald's still my favorite. Like it's I don't know. Nostalgia will always win in that regard. But. We'll see. I'll see how it reviews, I guess, and maybe pick it up. But I too, like Micah, like maybe this brought me down a little bit with like I was like, that's not what I was expecting. It's good. I'm not trying to like bash on it. But it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a full sword shield style.
That's true. I get that. There's a lot of people, I think a lot of Pokemon fans are on the same boat as you. It's like, oh, this is cool, but like we kind of expected a sword shield type of style, which I totally get. I'm not the biggest fan of Sword and Shield. I actually haven't beaten the game.
I was gonna say, honestly, the Sword and Shield art style is kind of bad. I mean, like I'll be honest, like I boycotted the game because of how graphically it looked like a DS game to me. I was like,
it does, yeah.
And I did play it. I did play it eventually, someone else's copy, but I just couldn't get into it. It didn't grab me enough. I don't know.
It's boring. The story was so boring. It was all about like getting to the end game and then doing all the Dynamax raids that you can. That was kind of the basis of Sword and Shield. I'll eventually go back and probably beat it. I have the expansion pass too, so I want to get all the Pokemon into my Pokemon home, whatever, and make sure I get all the Pokemon I need. But I think it's just a little refreshing to me to see this type of game because I haven't seen a Pokemon game like this in quite a while.
100%. I was gonna say that. Like one thing is that this is a traditional Pokemon game, top down, in like old school style. If you're like a fan of Pokemon, this makes sense. It really does make sense that they went with this art direction and this top-down style to kind of preserve the old style of the game while giving it a new fresh coat of paint.
And you have to understand this. The developers for these is not the Pokemon company. It's another company that they mentioned in the
you were just
presentation,
talking
about,
right? Pokemon Home. It's the people that made Pokemon Home.
Right. Or yeah.
So if there's no national decks, people better riot. I'm just kidding.
You gotta boycott them now, even though they're gonna sell record sale.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna sell so good. Oh man, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any question that this is gonna do well. But I gotta say that like while that was like that's cool announcement to me, this next announcement just blew me away. My live reaction to this, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I was like, it starts with like this like really cinematic opening where like a book opens up and it's like Legends, and I'm like, is this a Pokemon Conquest sequel? That's what I thought.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, cool, they're going back to Pokemon Conquest sequel. Awesome. I was all for it.
And then they show like the characters from Sinnoh, like the main characters in like this like ancient, like more ancient atmosphere. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, boom, this is Pokemon Breath of the Wild, y'all. Here you go. I'm like,
y'all.
I think everyone was like you, just blown away, speechless. I think I was like living in a dream. I'm like, this can't be real, right? Like we've been asking for this for decades. Now they're finally doing it. It's like, is this real? I don't know. I don't know yet.
Do it well.
Well, that's another question. Is like, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna smash it out of the park? We don't know.
So.
We don't know.
So this one, based off the trailer, was an instant. I'm buying this. Like that's how good the trailer was to me. Whether or not this will be like a fantastic game, Pokemon game of my dreams, I don't know. But it looked good enough from the trailer that it's I have to buy this. That kind of game, you know. Like when the first Breath of the Wild trailer showed, and like, well, I'm buying this game. Like I've got to. Like there's no way I'm skipping this game. Maybe that's a bad example because Zelda is just Zelda.
I mean, I didn't even have to see the trailer. I knew I was buying that game.
Yeah.
Trailer got me really pumped.
Trying to think of another game where, this is just one that's I've sold.
It's open world. Skyrim. Think of a game that just lets you go and just explore. I argue Outer Wilds, my favorite game of 2019. I always say it in like every podcast. That is a game where you explore and just go anywhere you want. So yeah, and to see that with a Pokemon game, it doesn't compute in my head as much because we're always conditioned of here's the route, here's the gym, here's the story. Like that's what we're conditioned to do. But now that we see this, it's like now anything is up for grabs for Pokemon. What is this story's gonna be like? What's the game gonna be really like? I'm not sure.
I definitely want to be like chased by a Machop or something, and like Machamp.
Machamp.
Yeah. I just want to be very afraid of some Pokemon chasing me at some point.
I feel like I've been like talking in tons of different threads and conversations about this today. I feel like this is a stepping stone for our Pokemon, and maybe this is a testing ground for where they're going to take the main series next.
100%.
Yeah.
If this does well, you can expect Gen 9 to be this style of open world with like sprinkled gyms on different towns everywhere, and that is cool, and I am so looking forward to that. If this works.
Yeah, I'm hoping they've learned from the wild zone.
Yeah,
it's called from Sword and Shield.
Right.
Because when that came out, I was really hoping that was sort of like a testing grounds and they'd expand more on it. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah,
I guess you can't really expect it to be too incredible. It's sort of their first foray into open worlds.
I feel like people, so for people
I
associate with, it was like everybody was like super hyped when this was being announced. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so good." Micah, I think, messaged me and was like, "This is the first time I've been like genuinely excited for a Pokemon game in a long time." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling that for sure." Like this, but then I'm also seeing like a very mixed reaction online. I know that like Twitter's just kind of the realm of complaining, you know.
I mean, you see everything. Yeah. You see everything on Twitter. You see the good and the bad all the time.
And hearing some people talk about the Pokemon Presents, there are some people that are like, "Oh, this doesn't look very good." Like I saw like side by sides of it and Breath of the Wild, which, I mean, come on, we can't compare the game to Breath of the Wild. That's a gem. That's a masterpiece. That's like comparing a new. I mean, Pokemon's not a new game. It's like comparing like.
I mean, Pokemon's never been like a graphical masterpiece. Like,
I mean, think of Skyrim and like Witcher 3. It's like that.
Yes.
Like Witcher 3 is beautiful. It has a lot of forest and trees, and it's breathtaking, right? And then Skyrim is I mean, the game is there, but it's kind of, I don't know, barren in a lot of open area, like Fallout 3. I mean, those are one of my favorite games, but back then it was very barren. There was not much. It's kind of like, yeah, I see that side by side. Now, I want to. I don't want to show any criticism or anything like that. I just want to be cautiously optimistic about this game. What gameplay I've seen, and I think Nintendo fans they could not care less like about it. And then it's just me. I'm just a technical savvy person. The performance is kind of lacking in there. I was like, this looks kind of rough. It looks like it's chugging along a little bit. I see Chimchar. You remember that little scene with Chimchar in the trailer, and his head is like bouncing around a little bit to see he's like lively and active. It's not a smooth head to head. It's literally like frame, 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 frame. Like you can see that.
Yeah.
That it's a frame by frame choppiness going on. Now I'm not saying that the game's gonna be terrible and it's gonna run terribly and it's gonna look awful. It's gonna take some work. I hope they iron it out, and I hope it's just the core of this game is there. That's all I care about. It's like as long as you have a stable performance and able to give me a Pokemon open world game that we all are gonna love, and what we dream of. That's all I care about this game is that part, and hopefully we get a Switch Pro with it too. That would be great.
I did see a lot of people going like, well, I mean, this is kind of an early version. The game's not
too early
yet.
though.
I'm going, well, wait, guys. They're saying early 2022. You know what else they said was early 2021? Pokemon Snap, and that's like April 30th. That's coming out. So
Yeah.
if this comes out April of next year, they have like basically a year to.
Yeah.
I don't know how much as a software engineer by trade and experience, I really don't know how much you can like drastically change. Like there's definitely polish that can be added and will be added, but I'm not holding my breath on like it's going to transform how the game looks and runs in 1 year.
I think it's going to be much more stable than what you see right now.
Yeah.
At least we won't see this frame choppiness that I see in this demo. I'm wondering if this is like a very early demo of some kind.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon rarely presents anything.
That could be the case. And who knows, again, making the comparison to Breath of the Wild took like 10 years. Yeah. Like it took forever. Pokemon is cranking out games like every year. Especially with their like main team. I feel like the comparison's kind of hard to make. At the same time, though, I do understand because Pokemon is the #1 media franchise in the world. Like
they're one of the top next to like Minecraft and stuff like that. Pokemon
they have money to invest in this for sure.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. It looks cool to me. I like didn't really look at it from like a technical perspective. Maybe we'll go back and watch the trailer. Now that you mentioned that, I'm gonna go back and watch the trailer.
Now I'm being picky. That's the thing. Is like we saw what we love to see. Take a look at Chimchar. Take a look at some of the Pokemon movements itself. It does look like a frame by frame animation movement going on, and also the trees. You can see in the leaves. The leaves are just garbage. It's just a green puff of polygons. It's not really leaves. So, again, foliage is rough on the Switch. Performance is rough on the Switch. So that's why I'm hoping for a Pro. And if they need to delay this, take all Pokemon Company, take all the time you need. Like, take it all. I know you don't delay games, but if you need to delay this one, you need to delay it in order to land it really well. Yeah. And I don't mind if I wait another 6 months to a year for you to make that happen. I'm gonna pre-order this. I'm gonna play the mess out of it. It's gonna be super great. I wonder how the story's gonna be because it looks a very different story. It's going to deal with Arceus. It's going to be ancient times. It's traditional time. You're making the original Pokédex for the Sinnoh region. That sounds so cool. It sounds awesome.
I wonder if like events will be more based off like how big you get your Pokédex. That sort of unlocks things other than finding certain areas or whatnot.
like
starters. The
land,
starters were just like this. It felt like a random. You've got Oshawott and oh gosh,
Cyndaquil,
what's that?
Rowlet,
Rowlet and Cyndaquil, my favorite Pokemon. It's like I was so excited. Like my favorite Pokemon is one of the starters.
I love how they jumbled the starters in there. It's like that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It was a weird choice because none of them are Sinnoh Pokemon.
Yeah.
So See, I think cautiously optimistic is a good way to be. Yeah. I'm definitely pumped for this one, and it's for sure gonna buy. And we'll see if it ends up being like Game of the Year 2022. Could be.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna be great.
It's definitely gonna sell. It's definitely gonna sell well.
Yeah.
At this point, Game Freak can like
do whatever they want.
Just like put a poop into a box and ship that, and it'll sell millions of copies.
I mean, they've done that with, they've made other games that weren't quite the best. Like, let's just be real here. It's equivalent to a bag of poop, probably. There's actually quite a bit of games that they made people don't know about at all. But I'm super excited for this, man. Yeah. I'm ready for it.
So we'll close out.
There's like,
oh, go ahead, Micah.
Sorry, I was just because there's like one part in it that made me, I guess, kind of a little nervous. It showed like the trainer sneaking up on like I think some Bidoofs or something. I can't remember what it was. Then they threw they threw like a Pokeball to catch one, and the other one's just like chilling, like nothing's happening. I was like, I mean, if you had to sneak up on them, it seemed like they would run away or something.
They're gonna learn a lot with this open world game. I think Game Freak is taking on probably their biggest challenge with the franchise and with themselves. Yet with this type of genre, they're gonna have to understand what an open world game is gonna feel like. And other than just typical Pokemon lore fashion, I'm sure they're gonna nail that. It's really down to like what's gonna make the game fun, other than combat. Because that's what an open world is.
Yeah, there'll have to be some really good like Pokemon AI, and Pokemon should hopefully have like different types of behavior. I guess. So it's a lot of work. But
I'm sure they'll have different natures like what they've done already in the 2D games. I'm wondering if they'll do the same here. Or maybe like different types of Pokemon will have different types of like natures or whatever. It would be cool if Pokemon it would be like a random set of different natures, like one's shy and one's aggressive.
Yeah.
Or one's lazy or something like that. But yeah, I was just wondering how deep are they gonna go with this open world mechanic? I don't know. I don't know what's the right depth too. Like that's up to them to figure out.
Kind of hoping they keep it narrowed to the Sinnoh Pokedex, like because that's kind of the emphasis on the story was you're going to be collecting the Sinnoh Pokedex, but the starters are not, which is interesting. So see.
Well, because we haven't gotten the starters in the Pokedex yet, right? We've gotten all the other Pokemon, and that's why they'll probably jumble those starters in there to begin with.
It's the very first. You're like the first humans on the Sinnoh region, maybe something like that.
Basically,
I think that's practically what's happening.
Yeah, and then you catch Arceus. You catch God Pokemon, basically. The one who makes all God or Pokemon beings.
Oh yeah, and so I think someone mentioned this, but I really hope they just let you get on like a Pidgey and just fly around. I want some flying transportation.
You're like,
like Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Maybe two Pidgeys, so you're standing one on each leg.
No, they're just pulling your shirt, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're held up like that.
Side by side,
like little talons.
Your arms are flapping out.
But yeah, or some mounts or something that you're charging around. I think that'd be really cool. I don't necessarily see that being a thing, but.
Well, that about does it for our news section. I do want to quickly mention that Post Malone released his Pokemon single, which is a cover of "I Only Want to Be With You" by
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish, thank you. And
okay, I listened to it. It's fine.
It's a perfectly good cover. That's the thing. I'm like, this isn't a bad song. It throws in a little Ecruteak City theme, at the beginning, which does not feel like it fits with the rest of the song at all. To be honest, like, hey, let's put this little Pokemon jingle in, and then we'll put it at the end. We're good.
Pretty much.
I seriously have no idea what the heck is going on. Like, I just do not understand. It makes zero sense to me.
I heard the singers for the Pokemon team. I'm like, why are they doing this at all? Like, I guess they're trying to catch the mainstream, but not like totally into Pokemon crowd. Like, oh, I remember Pokemon back then. Oh, I know these singers. I'm sure they're kind of just trying to grab some attention like that for the celebration.
Yeah. Nothing sells Pokemon like Post Malone.
I know. Hey, the kids love Post Malone, man. I mean, you heard them in Miles Morales, and now you're hearing them.
It's just such a weird matchup. I really don't understand. But hey, concert is well, by the time this goes live, the concert was Saturday. Maybe there was a lot of cool music. Maybe you did a Pokemon.
Oh, it's on Saturday? Cool.
Yep.
Is it like you have to pay tickets to go online, or what's the deal with that?
I am hoping not. I think it's a free virtual event.
It's a free virtual event. Oh, okay, cool.
I think so. Anyways, so we'll close out with some Post Malone. And with that, let's move over to the last segment of our show for today, which will be the Community Corner. And in today's Community Corner, we're going to be talking some interesting... We got some topic question things I think would be fun to go over with Garret here. Mm-hmm. So let's start... I'll start this question to you, Micah. What are your favorite narrative-focused Nintendo games?
Mm-hmm. I'm blanking a little bit. I feel like the only more narrative-focused Nintendo games I can think of are Legend of Zelda. I mean, Metroid Prime. Some of my favorite games they're a little light on the narrative, but they do have a lot of great lore that I really enjoyed exploring the world and scanning everything to find out. So yeah, I gotta go with Legend of Zelda and Metroid Prime.
Those are good picks. I feel like Metroid Prime does have a lot of lore when you do the scan stuff, and
yeah, you can find out a lot about the world you're on and what's going on. In the first one, figuring out what happened to the Chozo.
Yeah, that is an interesting. How about you, Garret?
Narrative-driven Nintendo games. It's I'm trying to think. Any kind of Nintendo own. I think when I think of narrative-driven, it's mainly what pops in my head is Telltale games. I think of Life is Strange. I think of the Edith Finch. What's behind Edith Finch? That was a great one. Outer Wilds is a great narrative game. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a little bit more. Link Between Worlds was a good, probably more recent narrative-driven game I've seen in terms of world building and with Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild wasn't much story there, to be quite honest with you. It was much more related to the beasts and the temples and defeating.
Hoping there's more in the next one.
For sure. Story. Yeah, me too. I feel like it was a little empty right there, a little lack of character development, but still a great game. I love Breath of the Wild. But yeah, I'm drawing a blank on what Nintendo franchises have a lot of narrative elements to it.
Fire Emblem's one out there.
I mean, Fire Emblem for sure. Yeah, I can't believe I completely forgot about that. Of course, I love Fire Emblem. Of course. Why did I not say that? That's stupid.
It's just because not really. I don't think of Fire Emblem as I still to this day don't think of them as a first party IP, even though they are hardcore first party IP.
I think of them as tactical RPGs in my head a lot of the time. Three Houses did really a revolutionary job of how they handled their game, because you could go through it 4 times. You'll get a different way of doing it, and there's different choices along with it. I chose the Black Eagles route for Three Houses, and That was an amazing run, and I'm like, man, I need to do a blue lions and a what was it, the yellow deer. I need to do
I don't remember what
something
they're
like.
called. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I love Fire Emblem Awakening, the 3DS game. I think that's one of my favorites Fire Emblem stories for sure. Has a lot of time travel in it, and um, kind of like kids meeting parents in like the same age. Has that weird vibe to it, but as an overall great story there. But yeah, that's pretty much it with me.
I'd say for me, we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but Pokemon has had some really good
Mm-hmm.
story time. I do think Black and White was interesting, and so was Platinum. Platinum, I really liked the story for that.
Platinum was out of nowhere. Oh my
I don't
It
remember
goodness.
has
any of the stories.
Well, it had so much more
Like,
than Diamond and Pearl. Like there was a lot
Yeah.
of added dialogue and character development for the villain and the and Team Galactic. It was
Mm-hmm.
like very different, and they interwove Detective Looker into the main story, where
Mm-hmm.
in Diamond and Pearl
Yeah.
he was part of like just the post game, and it's interesting how they did that, and I thought it was really cool. So Pokemon has some good potential with their stories that they have squandered since then. um, I
I'm
gotta
looking
say,
through my Switch right now. Hold on.
I
I
gotta say,
think
Ocarina of Time is like
Ocarina of
oh
Time for
yeah,
sure.
still
had
one
one of
of
the
my
best twists.
yeah
I
yeah.
recently played Ocarina of Time last year for the first time on
First time.
3DS. For the first time, I really really enjoyed it.
The
It was a good
3DS
one.
does that one also have like the Master Quest mode?
It does have the Master Quest, so I did beat the game and it opened that part. I haven't started that
I
one
wish
yet.
you could
I need to
start.
get the
I
Majora's Mask
enjoyed
though.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've heard Majora's. Yeah, so Micah and I are the worst Zelda fans in the world and haven't played Majora's Mask. Uh,
I actually own it though on the Virtual Console for the Wii, but I didn't realize you had to have the special like Wii Pro controller
Yeah, you
thing,
have to get a
the
Pro Controller.
classic.
I got
So
I
I
actually had
never
that.
played it.
I remember that.
I used to
Uh,
have one. I don't know if I still have that. Man, yeah. But that I've heard the story for that is really great. I really liked the story for Twilight Princess. Uh
I have not
Yeah.
played Twilight Princess,
oh,
unfortunately.
that
I haven't
Wow.
played much Zelda, as you can tell. I need to play, and that's why I need
how
the
does
Twilight Princess.
wait, how does Rebecca do a show with you and you haven't played any Zelda?
I
I don't know how that works.
she
I'm
she
just kidding.
tolerates me like no other. Like, oh my goodness.
I'm just
But
doing
I
it with
need
him.
Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD to be on
Wind
Switch.
Waker. So wait, have you played Wind Waker then?
I have not played Wind Waker. I've
Wind
really
Waker,
only
I have to say,
played.
is one of my favorites.
So I played A
Good
Link to the
story in that one too.
Past, A Link Between Worlds, Ocarina of Time, and then the other DS games, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, and then Breath of the Wild. That's the Zelda games I've played so
Man,
far.
yeah, you missed out on some really good ones. I would
I
say
know.
that the handhelds are probably the weaker, except for Link Between Worlds,
Well,
which is
they're
supposedly super good. Like
Oh, it's great.
I need
I
to
hope
I need
that
to
one
they're
know.
gets
just a little
remade on
different,
Switch. They're just a little
but,
different, yeah.
they're
Everybody's
good in their
wanting
own
this
way. It
like
depends.
everybody's wanting this mega pack of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker in like a duo to come to the Switch. I think it's more likely we'll get like ports of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and maybe as a bonus they toss in Link Between Worlds, like a 3DS bundle.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I'm hoping
they
for.
brought over Miitopia. They're bringing over Miitopia, so
It's
I feel like
ridiculous.
it's so much more likely that they are going to bring over Ocarina of Time from the 3DS version.
That would be cool. We
I'd
were
be so
talking
down.
about this on Shack the other day. Donnie was really advocating for a duo pack Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. And my argument against that, it's just really, they seem like, from a surface level, very disparate stories. That one's very
Yeah,
dark, gritty, and emotional. One's very cheery, cartoony, and light. Like just seeing it from the cover and just seeing from trailers, I think it's gonna discourage people who are not Zelda fans and are just Switch owners. There's like, why am I getting this dual pack and having these very, like,
yeah.
they don't combine very well. I would like, this would be cool actually. It was more of a joke, but I'm thinking of more and more. I'm wondering how they can put Spirit Tracks in Phantom Hourglass in the Switch. I think it.
I would actually be down for that. I enjoyed both of those games a lot.
I think it could totally work, but the problem is I think they're not going to work up enough with the controls to make that happen. They're doing so much controls with Skyward Sword, and they're selling that thing for $60, of course, because they put a lot of work in the controls for that. I don't see them putting a lot of work in the controls for these DS games in order to make that happen. But Link Between Worlds would be great. And Link to the Past, I want them both in the Link Awakening style, like that toy-like kind of, I don't know, aesthetic to it. That would be pretty cool to see. But yeah.
I know Micah was a big advocate for Oracle of Ages and Seasons to be remade in that style. Yeah.
Those are some of my first Legend of Zelda experiences.
Interesting.
I've played through both of them probably like 2 times at least.
Oh, I haven't played Minish Cap or those either. Like I haven't played a lot
Minish Cap, I'd even forgotten that was a game. That was a good one.
I really am hoping for. I do think that they'll do if they do a double pack, it's going to be Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask 3D. Like I think
that's what I was.
I feel pretty strong like that's going to be it, and they're for sure going to sell Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as separate, full $60 price. Like
I wouldn't. Play everybody's
going to buy it anyway. It doesn't matter what they do. They could sell it. They could sell those for more than $60, and people will buy it. So
I feel like eventually these games or more Zelda games will come out. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, for sure. I mean, those HD ports that they did to Wii U were on a stranded console. Like they're not going to just let that work sit out there. They've ported literally everything to Switch or made like a pretty close to sequel, like with Splatoon.
Yeah.
So I don't see them doing that. It would be wild for them to just go, we'll just leave it out there on the Wii U where it didn't sell well when it's a Zelda game. Nah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, and then last question we have in our community corner here, and this is just in general. What are your top picks for RPGs to get right now on the Switch? I want to preface this. Both these questions are around story driven and I kind of like focusing on RPG, JRPG, because I feel like first party Nintendo doesn't quite hit that with the story in a lot of cases. I mean, we're talking about Zelda. We're talking about old Zelda games. I guess we are getting Skyward Sword, which I did really like the story in that game. But you look at Mario, you look at, we were already talking about Metroid, Pokemon, Pikmin. The emphasis is not on story. It's all on gameplay, and story is an afterthought. I mean, Mario is like as afterthought of a story as it gets, I think. We made this game, and Bowser kidnaps some fairies, put them in jars. Like that's
it was a cute thing. It was cute to see. But it's definitely not emphasis on story. I totally forgot. I don't know why I forgot about this game. In the narrative-driven part, one of my top RPGs in the Switch console right now is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Oh my goodness! One. Yeah.
I did a full spoiler cast with Sean Capri on his podcast feed, and we just had a blast just playing through that, finishing it, and just talking about everything that happened in that story, including the character development. It is a standout in the JRPG franchise. It's not like a typical standard JRPG story. I think there's a lot of themes to it that relates to real life, about like just like what's like, I guess, different ethnicities and being different in kind of like a yin and yang kind of theme to it, where there's like an afterlife and there's like a cycle over and over. I don't know. There's a lot of different things with that game that makes it really shine.
So, your guys's deep dive spoiler cast got me super interested in this game. I have not picked it up, but it is one I plan to pick up. So I've told the story a bajillion times on the podcast already, but I didn't request. I put this on my Christmas wish list. I'm like, Xenoblade Definitive Edition. And I got Xenoblade 2. Which is the one I was like,
no.
I don't want to play Xenoblade 2. I want a definitive edition. Yeah. So I will pick that up and play it at some point. Because the story sounds awesome to me. It sounds like, and the gameplay and exploration, it looks really good. And yeah, it's one I'm definitely gonna pick up at some point.
Mm-hmm. The emphasis is not on game. I mean, gameplay is there, and I think there's some like combinations you could do. It could be kind of fun, but it is really like think of MMO gameplay where you just kind of stand there as kind of automatic attacks to the monsters. That's kind of the gameplay, but the story there, it's really there in the DLC too. I played the DLC. It wraps up character arcs that were in the main game really well. I'm surprised how much more they put in that DLC. I think I played like 15 hours or something like that into the DLC. Then play Xenoblade 2. Then you're good.
Yeah. So the second question that I like totally went on a rant and train. What are your top picks for RPGs to get on the Switch? And we're not limiting this to first party. Just any like what RPG games are your top picks? Garrett, I'll let you lead.
Well, yeah, Xenoblade, of course.
Yeah.
That was probably my top pick. Fire Emblem is another. Three Houses is another fantastic one for sure. Another game that pops up in my head, and it's always a classic, Skyrim. It's a very solid port.
The Switch version is the first one I like actually beat. Like got to like the intended ending.
That's really good. Yeah, that's awesome because it has all the DLC too, and so.
Get that Link tunic and Master Sword. Oh man,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's a great. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Also, I'm just trying to think of some RPGs that were great. Dragon's Dogma is a great port as well. So those are more Western RPGs. The more of the JRPGs, there's quite a lot. Of course, I've been talking about this a lot on Shack, and it's Donnie's game of all time. Game of the year is Atelier Ryza series. Atelier Ryza is it's a JRPG. It's about this girl that is interested in alchemy and whatnot. It has this very cutesy anime fan servicey style and theme, but I love the
but you're there for the story.
I'm there for the story, of course, 100%. The alchemy system is pretty cool, actually. There's so the basis of the game is you kind of pick up a lot of materials, and then with those materials, it's just different stats with all these materials, and then there's this alchemy web that you're gonna make all your stuff, like a shovel, and that shovel can have extra attack or defense on whatever you want to do. And then like weapons, potions, armor, like everything you're gonna like want to use in battle, you're gonna make from these materials. And that's the basis of what an Atelier game is. There's a lot of Atelier games in Switch.
No, I'm like looking through the shop right now.
There's
like,
too many.
You can like just scroll down, and then you can buy all. Oh, I exited out. You can buy all of these weapons and stuff. It looks.
There's 50 games or something like that.
50 games.
There's about 11 in Switch right now. They're about to put another 3 on there as like remakes. But Atelier Ryza 1 is the first one I played, and it's really solid. The second one just came out in January.
Oh yeah, I remember this in the direct. I'm looking at it now. It looked interesting. It did look interesting. Yeah.
So
I did not connect that with your description of it because you're talking about like the greater portion, but like seeing the character, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the yeah.
For sure. What like an RPG? Oh my gosh, I need to play this one, but everyone keeps talking about it. Dragon Quest 11S.
Yeah, that's one I've also been like, oh yeah. I've not played a Dragon Quest game before, and I'm like, I don't know. It does sound really good though. Everybody's giving it like just everything gives that one high reviews, high praise.
Everyone that played that game is like, oh, I'm getting that like 10 out of 10. Like it's like crazy amount. It's just the problem with me, and I also hear this a lot with that game is it's a long one and it drags out and it's about 100-ish hours, and I'm like, that's kind of scary because I want
big commitment.
I want to play like 5 other games on my Switch.
That's the
like,
problem with RPGs is like if you pick up these like especially JRPGs and I'm gonna talk to a game that has sucked away quite a bit of my life on the Switch. It's like they're big time commitments, so you can really only get like a few. You'll probably not finish them. Yeah,
for sure. I'm trying to think of other things that I'm just having on my Switch on hand right now. Golf Story. That's I wouldn't say that's an RPG necessarily. Let's see here, Disgaea 5, the Disgaea series. That's a very solid tactical RPG. If you really like zaniness, like anime shonen jump style kind of game. They're wacky, they're funny, and you're there for the story, of course. Not really. You do a lot of insane combos with a tactical RPG element. Basically, you can have all your characters together like around one enemy, and it does just crazy animations, and you get damage over like 10
Oh yeah,
nines.
I remember the trailer for that one where it's like 5 billion combo attack.
It's meant to be a little crazy. Disgaea 6 is about to come out this summer, and it looks like when I was seeing the trailers, they're trying to be more open to newcomers in this game because they understand that this game takes like 200 hours. Like you won't beat this game because it just takes so much time, but there's a lot of quality of life improvements with the latest one. I think a lot of newcomers are gonna like autoplay and like fast forwarding animations, or like automatically like upgrading your equipment to the best they can be, stuff like that, like trying to speed up the game along or make it a little easier for you. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking in my head right now with RPGs. What about you guys?
I'm gonna jump in and say my top RPG for the Switch has been Divinity 2, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Micah and I sank. I'm just gonna look at my playtime on that one because it was gross. I remember looking at it and going like, what have I done with my time?
I specifically stopped playing by myself because I was putting too much time into it. I was like,
no, it's been.
I'll only play it when I'm playing with Andrew.
It might have been too long. I won't be able to see it, but I did well over 200. I was encroaching 300 hours into Divinity 2.
What? On the Switch too?
On the Switch, yeah. Which is like not the ideal way to play Divinity 2 for sure.
Do you play a handheld or docked?
I play docked. Yeah.
I think
I have a PC that can run this game, but I got it on the Switch because I was like, I think actually at the time I did not have my PC, so it was the only way I could play it. And yeah, it's for me. It was a mix of like the story, which I felt like was an intriguing story and had some good elements to it, but the gameplay is just like phenomenal in that game.
There's so much you can do, like so many different ways of combining.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Project Triangle enthusiast,
Project Triangle, man.
Divinity 2 is one. I was looking at like, oh, you can like combine magic to do different things with the ground. Like, oh yeah, Divinity's all for that kind of stuff. Yeah, lots of terrain stuff. Everybody on fire all the time.
And then you curse the fire and it becomes worse.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to be found.
It heals you unless you're undead.
So besides that, I really haven't played like a ton in the RPG genre on Switch, besides Zelda and I think with these new Pokemon games and new Zelda games coming, those are going to be like some go-tos for that.
Does Mario Rabbids count?
Yes, Mario Rabbids. That's another game.
I had a blast.
I loved Mario Rabbids to death. I played it last year. With have you played the Donkey Kong DLC?
Yeah,
that's my favorite. That's got to be my favorite piece of. That's probably my favorite Nintendo. Whatever you want to say, part game. It's not really a game. It's just DLC. Whatever you want to call it. That's all Nintendo for me. That's my favorite. I love Donkey Kong to death. And so when I saw this in a tactical RPG kind of way with the rabbits, I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, that it's so. I remember seeing the trailer for it, like when they're like, "Oh, we're doing Donkey Kong DLC," and I was like, is this real?" I'm literally watching a commercial for a Rabbids crossover with Donkey Kong, and it's a tactical shooter. What?
Yeah.
What even is what? It's great. I do love that.
I want to say about Mario and Rabbids, it's one of the most accessible RPG games I've ever played. Like, I think anyone who has not played an RPG, like tactical shooter, whatever, try this game out. It has that Mario, like, kind of just touch to it. Like, it feels very Mario-esque. And also, it's kind of cute with the rabbits, like how they kind of play with each other. And they make it pretty easy for you to go through the levels, and it feels inviting. I guess that's another way of putting it. It doesn't seem punishing. If you can make it easier too, if you want. Like if you think it's like a hard on certain levels, there's like ways to make it easier for you. So yeah, try it out if you're interested in RPGs, but not necessarily experienced with it.
That totally reminds me of a game that I forgot. Paper Mario.
Oh, okay. Did you like it?
Paper Mario as a series. Oh, okay. I can't say as a series, but the first two Paper Mario games, I still have not played Thousand Year Door. Micah just finished it for the third time.
I haven't played it either. It's okay.
The first game, really enjoyed on the N64.
Cool.
And I played Super Paper Mario on the Wii and really enjoyed that. That one wasn't so much an RPG as it was like a platformer with the Mario aesthetic. Really? Yeah, it's very interesting. They took it a very different direction, and then didn't like Color Splash. I actually got so frustrated that I quit. It's like, this is just so boring and bad. But Origami King surprised me. They came back with Origami King. I really liked that game.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It's not.
I've got with the finding all the holes to fill and getting all the collectibles.
Yeah. Have you played the originals?
Finding the code.
Either Paper Mario or Thousand Year Door?
I have not played. I rarely heard of the Paper Mario games until Origami King, to be honest with you. And then I hear Thousand Year Door is the game to play if you want to try out Paper Mario.
Yeah.
At all.
That's like it's the traditional turn-based, like a sequel to Mario RPG, which I do gotta recommend all of that series minus Color Splash and Sticker Star. You can gloss over those and just pretend those didn't exist and enjoy Origami King.
What was on the 3DS? Which one was that?
Sticker Star.
Sticker Star? Was that an okay one?
It was bad.
It was bad. Never mind. I
didn't touch that one. Reviews were so poor, and what I saw from trailers and gameplay, I did play it on a friend's DS way back in the day, and I was like, this isn't great. It wasn't. I think it gets a little over hated on. Color Splash to me was just like, the fights were so bad. Like, it was. I don't even know. I legitimately got frustrated because it was like a game where it centers around the like encounters and battles, but I was quite literally dodging every fight I could so that I wouldn't have to engage in a battle because
you want to avoid fights.
Yeah, and that's not good when your like core mechanic is something everybody's trying to avoid. Like I felt like I was there for a story, and the mechanics were actively trying to get me to leave. Like that's what Paper Mario Color Splash is. Now that being said, I did talk about this last week. My son has started that up on Wii U and really likes it. So it's great for 4-year-olds. If you have a 4-year-old. Anyways, well, this episode has gone extremely long, and let's I'll wrap up here to kind of be respectful of your guys' evenings. But super thanks for hanging out with us, Garret. Do you want to give a plug to yourself and your stuff?
Sure. Thank you very much for inviting me. I was like, oh, wow, someone wants to invite me. That's awesome. Onto their show. I love talk about RPGs and Nintendo. You can find me on Twitter at Bland Explosion, like I'm so bland, and an explosion happens. So you can follow me there. I do stream sometimes on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Bland Explosion. And then you can also find me weekly on the NintendoShack, which is part of the Play Some Video Games Network. Donnie would kill me if I butchered that at all. And I hang out with Donnie, Reese, and Rebecca, and we have a good old time there. And we do live shows every Thursday night if you want to hang out at all. We actually read the chat, and you guys are part of the conversations quite a bit. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been really fun.
It's been awesome. I didn't realize this because we had Sean Capri on last week. I didn't realize you guys were like super good friends.
We're the best of buds.
So I didn't realize this actually, that you were the one that did the Xenoblade episode of Cup of Joe with him. I didn't know you specifically at that point. And
yeah, we did a spoiler cast. That was so fun. I met Sean 2000. Gosh, it was 16 now. So it's been a few years. So I've known that guy for a while, and got kind of intermixed with the indie podcast scene from then on.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that, and we had you guys back to back. So that's cool. Yeah,
that is really cool.
Sean's a great guy. That's how I discovered their podcast. So definitely give NintendoShack a listen. That's a fun show with a very varied opinions, personalities. You guys have like one of each kind of Nintendo fan. I feel like
we do. We definitely do.
We have that mix here with Micah berating
having played all the good Nintendo games and
berating me for not playing anything on GameCube, and me berating him for not playing like anything on the DS and 3DS. So. Yeah.
There you go.
We've got our gaps of knowledge that we fill each other.
Yeah. That's good.
But if you would like to support us, definitely check us out on Twitter, and we are at Nintendo Pals, and also on Instagram at Nintendo Pals Podcast. Please, if you are watching this YouTube version of this video, give a like, sub, share, all the good button stuffs.
Subscribe to it too.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Make sure you hit the follow button.
Good button stuff.
And then there's a little bell right there every time a new video pops up. Make sure to click that as well.
Yes, please do. We're trying to build up enough of a subscription base so that we can start doing like live streams, which I don't know exactly where that threshold is, but we're gonna get there. And also, open invite to anybody listening. Join us up on Discord, where we have fun conversations with other Nintendo pals, all on Nintendo news and games we're playing. Also, connect and play games. Like, as a community, we do a monthly community game night, and then just every once in a while, random game playing. Like, we had a group of 8 of us playing Among Us. So
that's cool.
Good.
Are you guys into Monster Hunter? Are you guys getting Monster Hunter Rise at all?
I don't. I know we have some Monster Hunter listeners for sure that are big into it. I don't know. I'm like
tempted, but those demos are always just like they throw you in, and I've no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I feel like my experience with the demo goes like I don't know if I want this game. But
So listeners out there, I'm getting it. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter World, right? That's the main, the recent main one, Monster Hunter World, right? Anyways,
familiar.
Yes. We're getting Rise next.
I will need help. So Monster Hunting Nights is totally open and free whenever I get that game. I totally want to get into it, but I need some help for sure.
Yes. So definitely hit us up on Discord and join in with some of these gaming escapades that we will be having there. And I guess that does it. Special thanks to VGR for the music used for our intro. And yeah, with that, I guess we'll let's see here. I've got my sweet closing tunes going. Garrett, would you like to give a closing remark?
Yeah, so, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it has very cool art.